Hi, my name is Florence, and today I will present our study on attitudes towards Bidayuh as a medium of instruction for kindergartens in Sarawak, Malaysia. Sarawak is the East Malaysian state situated on the island of Borneo, and it has at least 25 different ethnic groups and more than 51 indigenous languages. Bidayuh is the fourth largest indigenous language group in Sarawak, with a total population of 217,800 speakers. But sociolinguistic studies have found that the Bidayuh language is showing signs of gradual shift due to urban migration, education, and mixed marriage. Most Bidayuh parents do not speak the language with their children at home, and the children speak standard and dominant languages like Malay and English. Even though there is institutional support for Bidayuh in the form of the Bidayuh local radio station, the Bidayuh language is not used in media and education. Now, research on mother tongue-based education has found that minority and indigenous children learn more effectively, perform better academically, transfer linguistic skills easily, and become more confident when taught in their mother tongue. Yet, many parents still prefer their children be taught in standard or dominant language for advancement and opportunity in the globalized world. In Sarawak, the Dayak Bidayuh National Association, DBNA, with the support of UNESCO and the Summer Institute of Linguistics, SIL, established the Bidayuh playschools and kindergartens to provide Bidayuh students with a strong educational foundation and to help in the transmission of the language and culture to the younger generation. These community-based heritage language play schools, called Skura Piramin, are run by the community, and they develop their own spelling system and written materials with the help of SIL. The schools are conducted in the four main Bidayuh language varieties, namely Biatah, Bau, Serian, and Rara, because these language varieties are not mutually intelligible. Over the years, there is noticeable decline in the number of Bidayuh kindergartens due to lack of students, financial constraints, and competition from other kindergartens. Now, the demand for kindergartens using indigenous languages need to be high enough for the programs to be sustainable. Therefore, this study aimed to examine attitudes towards Bidayuh as a medium of instruction for kindergartens among the Bidayuh community in Sarawak, Malaysia, specifically to determine the extent of Bidayuh usage among Bidayuh participants and to describe their attitudes towards Bidayuh language kindergartens. The descriptive study involved 61 participants comprising Bidayuh family members, friends, and contacts of the researcher, who is a Bidayuh. They were mostly in their 30s and 40s, and 72.13% had a degree or higher, and 60% had BM medium primary and secondary education, and 35% had English medium education. So this was an educated Bidayuh group. 95% were Christians, and most of them spoke Bau and Biatah varieties. The study instrument was online questionnaire, which the participants self-rated their usage and attitudes on a 5-point Likert scale and responded to one open-ended question at the end of the questionnaire. We have come to the results and discussion of the study. The first objective was on the extent of Bidayuh usage. We found that the main language used at home was Bidayuh at 45.90%, but English was very close at 32.79%, which confirmed other studies that educated and urban Bidayuh tend to use other dominant languages like English even at home. In terms of frequency of Bidayuh usage, most of them, 67.2%, said they use Bidayuh almost every day, but 18.03% did not use the language at all in a week. In terms of proficiency in Bidayuh, the participants had receptive skills but not productive skills in Bidayuh. While they were mostly fluent and competent, with 63.30%, only 16.39% were able to speak clearly and effectively in Bidayuh, whereas 14.75% were not able to communicate effectively despite having a lot of understanding. And the 19.67% who said they could only speak a few words of Bidayuh suggest a decline in the ability to use the language, making Bidayuh language threatened in the long term. The second objective of the study was on attitude towards Bidayuh language kindergartens, and the participants mostly show positive attitudes. The most favorable reason were for language and cultural preservation. They also agreed that the children would learn good moral values and will feel at home when they hear their teachers speak Bidayuh, but not so much for high quality education if Bidayuh is used. Those figures were supported by their responses to the open-ended question, in which they clearly stated that Bidayuh language kindergartens were useful for language, cultural, and heritage preservation. Okay. This resonates with the widely accepted positive aspect of mother tongue education, which is to enhance transmission of heritage language and culture. In the existing Bidayuh kindergartens, traditional costumes, crafts, arts, artifacts, and the language in their respective varieties are used to teach language and cultural heritage to the children. So, while the participants also agreed that Bidayuh kindergartens would teach good moral values, they prefer other languages as medium of instruction in the kindergartens. They believe that kindergarten education in standard languages such as English, Malay, or Chinese are of better quality because they would facilitate communication with other community. In fact, one participant said that Bidayuh kindergarten was not applicable at all, which echoes the Kenyan rural parents' insistence that their children be taught in English rather than their indigenous language for the purpose of exposure to the prestigious language of the globalized world. Although there were lone voices in support of Bidayuh as a medium of instruction, there seemed to be more for Bidayuh as an elective language subject, and that Bidayuh language kindergartens would only benefit Bidayuh children that live in urban areas because they would give them the practice and exposure in using or conversing in the language which they don't do at home. As for the Bidayuh in rural areas, they should use other languages as medium of instruction. The participants also highlighted important practical and pedagogical challenges, particularly that the four main varieties of Bidayuh would affect pedagogical resources and selection of orthography. They were concerned about which dialects to be used as a medium and whether there would be enough materials in that dialect or variety used. Also, the availability of qualified teachers in that variety of Bidayuh. So we can conclude that the participants had ambivalent attitudes towards Bidayuh as a medium of instruction at kindergarten level. Although they were generally fluent and had good usage of the language and showed positive attitudes towards Bidayuh kindergartens, they viewed other languages more useful for access to opportunities outside of Biday community as well as for effective communication with other ethnic groups. So further research should make use of interviews to obtain more genuine perception towards the feasibility of Bidayuh language literacy programs. With this, I end my presentation and I thank you for your attention. If you have any questions or comments, do contact us at this email. Thank you.